Welcome to Humans of Public Service.
This is going to be fun. I'm so excited that you're here.
Good morning.
You're in Seattle right now, but
Yeah.
where'd you grow up? Like, where are you from originally? Tell us how you got here.
Yeah, so I am, as we say, I'm a Tar Heel born and I'm a Tar Heel bred. And when I die, I'm a Tar Heel dead. So I'm from North Carolina. And I both grew up there as well as I went to college there, and I still have the 20-some-year-old mouse pad to show for it. So I am definitely an East Coast transplant living in Seattle.
So if I had to guess, your first job out of college was not in public service.
After college, you are correct. I didn't go straight into public service. I became a consultant. So I went and worked for one of the large consultancies that does a lot of work in the DC area and elsewhere called Accenture. It was an organization that does a whole lot of different stuff. So it was kind of fun to be in an organization, but then you're not totally pigeonholed. That said, I will share that I started pigeonholed myself and I wanted to just work with government clients. So that was for the entirety of my time with Accenture. I only worked with government clients. It was sort of where my interest was, where my heart was.
Got it. Okay. And tell us about your journey into public service. Was it immediately after consulting that you went into public service? And if so, what was that journey, or what was that path like?
I didn't go straight from consulting into public service. What I did instead was I went to graduate school for public policy. And then from there, I started looking for jobs in government. Through a conversation with someone in my network, I found out there was an opportunity in the New York City mayor's office, and applied and interviewed and got a job as a policy advisor. And it was an incredible opportunity. It was like quite possibly the best first job in public service.
You've seen the federal side of government. You've actually worked in city/local government. What would you say has been the highlight of your career so far?
The first highlight, in all seriousness, was in New York City. Something that I worked on was helping to develop the first social impact bond in the United States. The social impact bond, for those who don't know, who may not be familiar, also known as a pay for success contract, is essentially a different form of contracting where the government contracts for outcomes, not for outputs. I'll share the other highlight is from the other city government I've worked in, which is Seattle, where I still live now. And the highlight there was we did some work to make essentially benefits more accessible to low-income residents. Now, if you live in Seattle and you apply for a program, if you give the city your data, the city's going to say, okay, do you want us to use the same data to apply for all these other programs that can also save you money? And that's huge because it's changing that interaction. And I think it's certainly a highlight. And it's another example where local government's just so close to residents, right? You can make that change in a number of years. And it's really rewarding because you know that it's helping the folks in your community.
7 or 8 years in public service. What are you doing now?
Now I'm not working in government, but I do feel like I'm continuing my public service, honestly. So I serve as the Chief Partnerships Officer for U.S. Digital Response, which is a nonpartisan nonprofit that provides pro bono technology support to governments. And I came to this role because during the pandemic, when I was in Seattle as the Chief Innovation Officer, we needed help. We didn't have a lot of technologists on staff, and U.S. Digital Response was founded in the early days of the pandemic. And essentially, there started being some activity on Twitter to say, hey, does anybody need help? And I immediately raised my hand, and that just resonated. So when the opportunity came up to join USDR, it felt like a really cool opportunity to continue the work I was doing, but with different cities across the country and states and counties and tribal governments. So it's been a ton of fun.
Again, doing amazing work, while you're not in government, still supporting government and also the residents as well. So amazing.
Here's the thing, I both from my experience consulting, but then also working in both New York City and Seattle. Again, what just stands out, what really strikes me is the quality, the caliber, the passion, the strength of our public servants and those that serve.
We really appreciate you making the time. Thank you so much, Tina, for coming and sharing your story with us. It's definitely an inspiring one, and we're excited to follow you in your journey and see what comes next.
I'm always game to talk about why public service is the place to be. So thanks for having me.